Hello internet friends, welcome to this, the first video in a series of 3 discussing the many different iterations of Star Wars Galaxies. Over the course of this mini-series we'll discuss the servers that are currently running, the differences between them, why the debate about which version of Star Wars Galaxies is best still rages, and what the future might hold for Star Wars Galaxies emulation. In this first video we're going to look at the server options available in 2021 and hopefully help you make an informed decision about which one might be right for you. A quick caveat, all of the information in this video is freely available online and I'd encourage you to follow up with your own research. I obviously don't have time to play on all these servers and test all the changes in person, so I'll be restricting myself to those servers that I either have played myself or which have detailed information readily available. Finally, what I won't be doing in this video is telling you which server is best. There is no best. There are only choices to be made based on your personal preference. With that said, let's start breaking down the choices. Star Wars Galaxies SWGEmu Basalisk. Basalisk is the OG Star Wars Galaxies emulator and was begun while the game was still live. In response to the many changes the original devs made to the game, the mission of Basalisk is to offer a true recreation of the original Star Wars Galaxies before the CU, or combat upgrade for the uninitiated. In fact, all the servers we're going to discuss in the first part of this video take this pre-CU version of Star Wars Galaxies as their starting point. For the technically minded, Star Wars Galaxies SWGEmu uses none of Sony Online Entertainment's original server-side software to recreate the game. Instead, the code has been reverse engineered. This is a core difference between the pre-CU servers like Basalisk and servers that use a leaked version of SOE's code as their starting point. We'll be discussing those in the second half of the video. What does all this mean for you as you make your choice? Well, if you want a pure recreation of Galaxies before the combat upgrade, no changes to core rules, no tinkering with mechanics, Basalisk is for you. The team has been going for a long time and what they've achieved in recreating the pre-CU experience is remarkable. The ground game is now solidly implemented and the team continues to work on a version of Jump to Lightspeed, although there's currently no ETA on this beyond when it's ready. Like many servers, Basalisk has not been without its controversies over the years, but in terms of reliability and staying power, no server beats it. It's been around the longest and it is the reason a lot of the other emulators exist, providing a solid code base on which to build. I'm going to talk about several of the servers that take Star Wars Galaxies SWGEmu as their starting point, but this is by no means an exhaustive list. There are many private servers out there now with only subtle or incremental changes, or that come from the angle of providing something like community or stability, a family feeling in a galaxy far, far away. While these are worthy goals to aim for, they're pretty hard to quantify in a video like this. I've therefore restricted myself to servers that seem to offer something unique when compared to Basalisk, a new thematic focus or changes to the core mechanics for instance. In alphabetical order, the first of these tweaked pre-use servers I've picked is Attack of the Clones. As the name suggests, the server focuses on the Clone Wars era of the Star Wars timeline and features updated quests to reflect this. The server also focuses on convenience for the player, with fatigue and wounds being curable for a fee from faction terminals, shuttles being always available, and the server boasts the ability to simply log in and play, meaning no need to queue for buffs before you'll be able to go out and engage in combat. Like many of the pre-use servers built upon the Basalisk code base, the changes in Attack of the Clones are numerous and somewhat daunting. How these cumulatively contribute to a different feeling game is best discovered by playing them for a while. My advice would be to see if the core premise of a server, in this case the focus on the Clone Wars era, interests you and then roll a character and play for a week. While veterans may be attracted by subtle changes that have been a pet peeve of theirs for years, the casual shopper will be more interested in sweeping changes that make the jump from Basalisk to another pre-CU server worth the effort. The era in this case is the hook for Attack of the Clones, so if you like the sound of that, give it a go. Aurora. Aurora is a French server, which is obviously a selling point, but the server also boasts additional playable species, additional mounts with a boost to their speed, bringing some in line with speeders, and additional planets. Again, changes have been made for convenience with buffs available from terminals, although the strongest are still provided by doctors, and there are boons for new starters such as an initial credit payout and starter kit. The server also allows 8 characters with 3 allowed to log in at once. The number of alts allowed and how many characters can log in at once varies widely across all these different servers. Again, for the uninitiated, multiple logins allow you to get more done solo, since you can heal yourself in combat with a bot, for instance, or tackle tougher enemies with your crew of alts. A stable of alts, whether logged in simultaneously or not, allows for much more self-sufficiency. Many of the crafting classes, for instance, require items crafted by other players, but on a server like Aurora, where you can have 8 alts, your reliance on other players is greatly diminished, if not removed entirely. How this might contribute to the social glue of the game is always a question to consider. In my experience playing on a server where 5 characters are allowed with 3 logged in at once, AFKing often takes place and crafters are able to corner markets with their one-man business enterprises. But if the server has a healthy and engaged player base, the desire to socialise still remains, and competing godlike crafters often battle one another. Crafting interdependencies certainly encourage more interaction, but luckily Star Wars Galaxies features so many playstyles that even if as a crafter you have your supply chain sewn up, you still need combat characters to buy your wares. Okay, onto our next server, Awakening. Another long-running server launching in 2014, the team have deliberately avoided tinkering with things they do not believe need changing, such as the majority of professions, with the exceptions being Jedi and Bounty Hunter. Hunters have been tweaked to stand a better chance against powerful Force users, and the path to becoming a Jedi is unique to the server and to each individual player, with luck, hard work and knowledge of the galaxy all playing a part, according to the blurb. The Jedi system is something that several pre-NGE servers mention as a selling point. NGE servers don't, because Jedi is a starting class. Partly this is because playing as a Jedi is the goal of so many players, but in addition because SOE's initial integration of the class was so appalling. Finding a way to integrate this powerful class into the game in a meaningful way that is both challenging and rewarding is often the goal. The Awakening team, they certainly seem to believe they've found a way that works. Bloodfin. It's a server that keeps many things the same but takes additions from far and wide. Crafting and resources are done the old-fashioned way, but Jedi content is wide open according to the wiki. They also have added jump to light speed, both space and atmospheric flight, along with other perks from later versions of Star Wars Galaxies that they've tweaked to work with the pre-CU code. As time marches on and more teams work on their own unique versions of Galaxies, cross-pollination from various versions becomes more common. Notable with Bloodfin is the inclusion of atmospheric flight on a pre-CU server. The ability for players to fly their ships within the atmosphere of a planet was only added in the final few months of Galaxy's existence, so the chance to try it on a pre-CU server is certainly intriguing. Empire in Flames is another server that shifts the timeline, this time forward to post-Return of the Jedi, with key features being a new profession system, combining elements of the later game and pre-CU, a new approach to housing which effectively inverts the way it usually works, with houses being built within an NP city rather than across the planet. New races are available, and the team has taken the controversial step of reworking the crafting. Due to the complexity of the crafting system in Galaxies and the general feeling that, of all the systems in the game, crafting is one of those that works the best, changes are rarely seen. For this reason alone, Empire in Flames is an intriguing prospect for players interested in a new crafting challenge. So those are the pre-CU servers, but in between the original game and the NGE, New Game Experience, there was the combat upgrade. Ironically, even pre-CU servers derived their identity from the CU. They happened before it. But in terms of emulation, few teams are actively working with this version of the game. One notable exception is Restoration 3. One of the newest servers launching in May 2021, Restoration 3 takes the CU combat system, but the classes are entirely free to be mixed and matched, allowing the player to level up whatever profession they like. The server will be launching soon with jump to light speed and the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk fully implemented, and they're taking a unique approach to server progression with the collective efforts of players unlocking future content such as Mustafar and some of the higher level instances. Jedi is an unlockable class, and they promise the path will be difficult and mysterious once again. The team also seem very cognizant of what they see as damaging systems like AFK macroing, putting systems in place to de-incentivize the activity. They're also quite firm that 2 characters should be enough for us all, and they are looking to incentivize players to work together once again. In amidst the myriad servers out there, some of which are so similar it's hard to distinguish them apart, a team with a strong vision like this is definitely a breath of fresh air. Now on to the NGE, the New Game Experience servers. Although several of the pre-CU emulators, in fact in researching this video I find that most of them now incorporate some aspects of the NGE, these servers are the ones that use a leaked version of Star Wars Galaxies as their codebase. There is debate about the legality of this as opposed to Star Wars Galaxies EMU derived servers, but that's beyond the scope of this video. Suffice to say, these servers exist, they are being played on, and as of yet they have received as much ire from Daybreak or Lucasfilm as any of the others, that is to say none. The first of these servers, and by far the most popular, is Star Wars Galaxies Legends. The reason for its popularity might be its solid recreation of NGE Galaxies. The server is generally always up and outages are rare. Its effective community team who are very good at promoting the game, or the devs that are creating completely new content such as the recently released Planet Bespin. Not just a reskin of an existing world, this is a fully featured mega instance with quests and activities for all professions in the game. I've dabbled in a few of the emulators over the years, but I've honestly never seen anything on this scale and with this level of polish. Definitely worth a look as you scout around for the right server. But Legends isn't the only NG server. There's also Prophecy, which like Legends seems to have an active community team with events ongoing. A scavenger hunt for lava crystals on Mustafar has just taken place, for instance, and Beyond, which touts a new Hoth ball game as part of its latest update. As time goes on, however, and we view more and more of these servers, the differences between them become more and more granular, and we get into the minutiae of patch notes and small incremental changes once again, which, while important to the individual teams, as I've said, working away on their passion projects, these differences are unlikely to be the deciding factor when it comes to choosing a server, which is, after all, the point of this video. After researching, playing and reading up for this vid, it seems to me that players are spoilt for choice, and the answer to the question of which server to play on will be different for all of us. As stated at the beginning, do your research, hunt around, maybe even get in touch with players on a particular server or the teams involved. Most of them have active discords at this point, but at the end of the day, the best way to find out which server is for you is to play on it. Oftentimes when it comes to MMOs, the feature set or the storyline may not be the deciding factor. It's the people you meet in game, and there's no way to know who you'll meet until you log in and try it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I helped you a little as you make your choice. In the next video I'm going to discuss the various versions of Star Wars Galaxies and why the debate still rages between players and emulation teams as to which is worthy of their time. So sub up for that if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.